What's up guys, Readiness Rations here with you again, and in today's MRE review, we're going to be rolling back the calendar about a decade. This is probably the most hated meal ready to eat from 2013, and that is menu number 5, chicken with tomatoes and feta cheese, aka Mediterranean chicken. I've never had the pleasure of trying this particular menu, so I'm looking forward to finally forming an opinion of it. Before we get this meal kit open, I want to remind you guys to give this video a thumbs up if you like seeing these military ration reviews here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future ration review content. And don't forget to drop me a comment letting me know what ration you would like to see me review next. Now, chicken with tomatoes and feta cheese doesn't necessarily sound terrible unless you have an issue with feta, but I've always heard this particular menu is pretty darn gross. Mediterranean chicken was only an MRE menu for 4 years. It debuted in 2010 and was replaced in 2015. In terms of US military ration life, that was a pretty short one. The particular example we're looking at was packed by Ameriqual, and our date code is the 281st day of 2013, making this ration just over 10 years old at this point. Let's open her up. We'll do our pillable seal for this one. This ration was sent to me by an awesome viewer. You know who you are, thank you so very much. Double bagged as usual with Ameriqual rations. First item is a hot beverage bag, followed by our flameless ration heater. This heater looks to be in very rough shape for whatever reason. Almost all of the filings have left the internal pad and are just loose in the package. We'll still give that a shot anyway. MRE spoon, carbohydrate electrolyte beverage powder grape, that comes in at 90 calories, 1.5 ounces of cheese spread, a package of vegetable crackers. You very rarely run into these in a modern MRE. An apple cinnamon flavor First Strike nutritious energy bar, 2 ounces of cranberries osmotic. This is certainly a welcome addition. A pack of Reese's Pieces, how do you guys say that? That is a 1.5 ounce package coming in at 210 calories. And then we have our box for the main entree. Chicken with tomatoes and feta cheese, made with white chicken. That is a pretty extensive ingredients list there. 210 calories on that. Only 5 grams of carbohydrates, and a substantial 27 grams of protein. We also have an accessory package here, so we will crack into that right quick. Brown pack of matches with pink tips, 4 grams of iodized salt, 4 grams of sugar, a coffee instant, type 3 freeze-dried, creamer, non-dairy dry for the coffee, a moist towelette, Lighthouse toilet paper, and a 2-pack of peppermint chewing gum. I think those are pretty solid ration contents by any standards. I guess it's gonna all come down to how that Mediterranean chicken tastes. Before we do anything else, let's get this flameless ration heater going. There's our retort pouch for the main. Pretty liquidy on this side and pretty solid on this side. This FRH is in such terrible condition, there's no way I'm putting my retort pouch down in here. A little trick that will sometimes kickstart the activation of one of these flameless ration heaters is the addition of a little bit of salt. I figure we'll go ahead and give it the salt treatment. And I'll follow that up with some water to the fill line. Make sure the entire heating pad there gets nice and saturated, even though most of the contents have already fell out. We're getting some bubbling and hissing already, so we might end up with a hot meal after all. We'll place our retort pouch alongside the ration heater, and then we'll slide both of those back down into the box our entree came in. That is most certainly kicking off. Look at all that steam. So while this is heating up, let's get everything else plated up. This cheese spread is pretty darn hard, so I think it will benefit from a little bit of heating as well. Let's take a look at our coffee instant type 3 freeze-dried. Looks fantastic. Smells pretty good. Check out those super large freeze-dried crystals. Add our sugar. And let's see how this creamer's holding up after a decade. Well, it is discolored a little bit. It's kind of yellowed, and it's looking a little bit clumpy. Let's give it the old taste test. It's not awful. One more. I think it's okay. So we'll add that, and we'll chase that with about 6 ounces of hot water. That is some really clumpy non-dairy creamer. Give that a couple minutes to cool down, and we'll move things right over to our Grape Beverage base powder. This is a really oversized package for the amount of powder they include. There's our little crystalline blue powder in the bottom there. The idea behind this is you pour your water into this pouch and mix in the pouch. So we'll give that a shot. About 12 ounces here. In our more present day rations, the mix in the bag bags have a zip top. These older ones did not, so they can get really messy really fast. What we want to do is fold this over several times to give a little bit of a dry bag-like seal, and then very much like a dry bag you would use for kayaking or what have you. Fold it all in on itself and make a little package, and then we'll give it a shake. Well, this is already a huge mess. I think we'll go ahead and cut our losses and just pour this one up as is. Man, that grape aroma is something strong. And look how blue this grape drink is. We got a little sploosh of grape drink all over the place, so we'll use some of our Lighthouse toilet paper to clean that up. Feels like one of those paper towel commercials mopping up generic blue liquid. All right, I think it's time to check out our coffee. Well, that's still hot, but that is a very mild, sweet, creamy, pleasant cup of coffee. No bitterness whatsoever. Super low acidity, warm and comforting. That Coffee Instant Type 3 makes a pretty good cup. Let's open up our Cranberries Osmotic here. Oh boy, those are looking super rough. Very discolored looking. I don't think cranberries are supposed to be this brown. They are pretty decrepit looking. In all honesty though, I have seen worse. We'll give them a taste in a minute. Next up is our apple cinnamon flavor First Strike nutritious energy bar. Squished flat, very shiny on the outside, a little bit sticky on the fingers. This is one of the older First Strike bars that I've had the opportunity to try, and it's looking in pretty outstanding shape, essentially identical to one that's brand new. And now we'll open these crackers. Those were under a nice vacuum. They are coming out all in one piece, just the slightest breakage in the corners. Those smell a little bit plasticky, but not bad. The activity on our FRH has seemed to die down a lot, and unfortunately this is still not feeling that hot to the touch. We'll give it a couple more minutes, and in the meantime, try out our cheese spread. Now it has loosened up a good deal. Give it a good little mix, just in case those oils have separated at all. MRE cheese spread can easily go bad in 10 years, so this will tell the tale of what kind of condition this ration's in overall. It's a little bit dark, but doesn't look too bad. This is just plain cheese spread, so no jalapenos or bacon bits. The oils are a little bit separated, but hey, I think this cheese spread is in pretty good shape. Nice and yellowy orange still, maybe a little darker than it was when super fresh. Smells pretty cheesy. Let's try it out. Heating it up helps out a lot. It has a very nice texture, squishy and runny. That cheese taste is pretty darn potent, I think. Whatever aging process it has gone through, it has made it a little bit sharper than this stuff is when it's brand new. This very well may be better than what you would experience with one made more recently. Cracker next. Nice little snap on that. We can see our little bits of vegetable flakes all in there. And it has a nice little toasty rim on the outside. Let's see how these have held up. Although super dry as usual, these are delicious. 100% preservation, just like new. I really wish they would use vegetable crackers more often in our modern MREs, because that little bit of added vegetable matter really does help the depth of flavor on these and gives you a taste dimension that you wouldn't otherwise have. These two were made to be married though, so let's put some cheese straight on our cracker there. That's gonna be good. The extreme saltiness and pungent cheesiness of the spread is the perfect complement for the mild, crunchy, toasty cracker. I love this stuff. The cheese does help the cracker go down a little bit easier, but I'm still about to choke. So let's give our Grape Beverage-based powder mix here a try. Cool and refreshing. Pretty high level of tartness, decent level of sweetness. This is a carbohydrate electrolyte beverage, so you do pick up on a little bit of that sort of salty flavor from those electrolytes. It's a lot like a Gatorade or Powerade. I'm not a big fan of artificial grape flavor, and this has that in leaps and bounds, so I might not love this, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. If you're a fan of grape drinks, I have no doubt that you will find this drink quite enjoyable, and as served cold, I don't hate it myself. I'm ready to get into this main entree. The flameless ration heater is gone totally cold at this point. The retort pouch has a little bit of warmth. Temp-wise, we made it just above 100 on the outside of the package. Open this up. We're delaminating just a little bit. Maybe this retort is not in the best shape. That is a murky tomatoey juice. It doesn't smell quite as bad as I've heard it described though. Pour that out here. Oh yeah, lots of juice. And we have a large chunk of chicken breast. That is a substantial piece of protein. As far as the internal package temperature goes, we're right around that 109, 110. I would have liked it a little hotter, but it is what it is. We have a lot of sort of runny sauce here. There are all kinds of flakes of little spices in that sauce. As the name would suggest, we have tomato chunks. I'm guessing these little blocks are pieces of feta cheese. Never in my life have I seen feta cheese that is brown. Oh boy. So those should be interesting to give a try. We have a little bit of onion in here as well. I don't know what this flap of matter is. I suppose that's some part of the chicken, but it doesn't look like any chicken I've ever seen. This is a very questionable looking dish. As far as the chicken itself goes, it is very soft. I'm cutting it easily with my spoon here. It is a solid piece of white meat chicken breast. We can see our stringy, meaty fibers here. It does look quite dry, so I think the best way to really experience this main is going to be to break this chicken up and then mix it in with the sauce, trying to moisten those meat fibers. You certainly can't complain about the amount of meat though. That is a lot of chicken for this main. We have a nice little spice flake there. That's probably oregano or possibly basil. That feta chunk is very questionable though. 10-year-old Mediterranean chicken. Here we go. I like it. The chicken is a little dry, but this doesn't lack for flavor at all. The feta adds a nice salty punch. The tomato's so soft it just kind of melts away, and it has that pleasant Mediterranean spiced flavor. All those elements combine together pretty well in my opinion. Let's get just a taste of the sauce by itself. The sauce has some tang from the acidity of the tomato. Again, sodium is very noticeable. It has a nice salty punch, and it has that background potency of your feta cheese. I guess we'll give one of the little feta cubes a shot by themselves. It squeaks, almost like a cheese curd. Yeah, that's not bad. The cheese has actually absorbed a lot of flavor from the sauce. You can taste the tomato and the chicken and the herbs in the cheese. Another bite here with everything. If you're not a fan of pungent cheeses, you're not going to be a fan of this because that is its primary flavor, and I think that's why it gets such a bad rap. There's a lot of people that don't like stinky cheese. This is pretty stinky. But if you're like me and you don't mind a more cheesy cheese, you might find this menu pretty darn good. This is a very well-balanced menu. The proportions of tomato, cheese, sauce, and massive bites of chicken make for a very satisfying eating experience. And there's really no indication flavor-wise that this is like a decade old. We'll pile up some of that on a cracker here. There's a lot of feta on this one. I don't see how you can be mad at that. The toasty crunch of the vegetable cracker complements that main as well as you could hope for. This already has a lot of cheese in it, of course, but I don't think it would hurt to add a little extra cheese spread just to get the full experience. I'm pretty blown away. I actually like this menu, and I never thought that was a possibility given what I've heard from other people about this one. Let's give our osmotic cranberries a shot here. They look like they've been coated in some kind of sugar or something, because those don't look just like straight cranberries. I think they've seen better days, but let's toss them back anyway. Perfumey, ridiculously sweet. They're chewy, but you're also biting through some almost crunchy sugar crystals. They still have a pretty good cranberry flavor, which of course is accompanied with a decent amount of sourness. These cranberries are still completely edible, but at the very least they are on the downside. We've had quite a few First Strike bars here recently, but like I said, this is probably the oldest one I've encountered. It is very sticky on the outside. It has become even more sticky after leaving the package. Very chewy and gooey. We have our puffed rice all in there. That's fine. I don't love the apple cinnamon First Strike bars as it is. There is no discernible difference between the way this tastes and one that is freshly packaged. Your jaw has to work on these a good bit. They take a lot of chewing to get down. The puffed rice is pleasant, not bad. And now we are down to our Reese's Pieces, or Reese's Pieces. Wow, those look fantastic. The candied shells are not cracked or messed up at all. They're shiny, smell of peanut butter. Give them a try. Sweet, peanutty. There's a look at the inside of one. I rarely indulge in candy, but I've never been disappointed in Reese's Pieces. Menu number 5, chicken with tomatoes and feta cheese, also known as Mediterranean chicken, one of the more controversial MRE menus from this past decade, but one that I found surprisingly good. It's good enough to where I would be happy to eat this one again. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up It really does help out with the Google algorithm and getting the video out to other viewers. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future military ration review content. If you've had chicken with tomato and feta cheese before, let me know what your experiences are. And don't forget to share the video if you know someone else that might enjoy it. I will catch you guys in the next video. See you then. Peace.